See if you can survive these deadly games. This is our review of Squid Game.
Squid Game is multiple mini-games in one based on the Netflix show, and I was very skeptical on how they could take those games and turn it into a board game.
I was genuinely surprised by how immersed in the show this game can make you feel. We'll tell you all about it after this quick how to play. There are a series of mini-games that resemble the games played on the show.
Players start the game with 7 team tokens, with 5 in reserve for later.
Players then use their team tokens as their people to play the games in order.
Red Light Green Light is a press your luck wagering style game.
Dalgana is a press your luck Russian roulette style card game.
Tug of War is a team betting game.
Marbles is an odds or even guessing game.
Glass Bridge is a press your luck movement guessing game.
And the Squid Game is a hand management action wagering game.
At the start of each game, players receive an extra token from their reserves, guaranteeing each player will play every game.
Over the course of each game, a lot of team tokens are going to be eliminated, and ultimately only one token will win it all. Before we begin, if you're enjoying this video, please hit that subscribe button.
All of your likes and subscribes really help us out, so thank you.
So like most everybody else during the pandemic, we really got into Squid Game, so I really enjoyed watching the show. So when I saw that a board game was coming out, I was like, how are they going to make that into a board game? I was really surprised with how immersed into the show that you get. Now the games themselves aren't like super fun and exciting. However, when you're comparing it in your head to the TV show and going, yeah, I can see how those two go together, then it really becomes, oh, that's really, really inventive what they did.
One thing I remember was when we were doing our research before Gen Con, this popped up and it was like, only limited quantities. So walking around, I'm like, where is it? Where is it? And then when we finally got there, it's like, oh, there's a ton of them. So I was a little worried that like, maybe this isn't going to be that great. However, I was wrong. This was really fun.
This is a series of mini games, so each game has its own set of rules. So at the start of each mini game, you're always looking at the rule books to try to remind yourself, okay, this is how this one's played, move on to the next one. So there is a little bit of downtime in between the two. So kind of like in the show, there's downtime in between the games, but with this one, there's downtime in between the mini games. Overall, they did a good job of connecting the games to the show. I'd have to say my favorite is the Red Light, Green Light, because it really is like the show because of how brutal it is. It's a card wagering game. You play a card of how many spaces you're going to move ahead. And then if that number matches the number on the Red Light, Green Light, then you're eliminated. Only right here, oh yeah, it's 4. Don't put a 4. But then you get the kind that are like, all the numbers are going to be eliminated. So it really does wipe out almost your whole squad of people. So you start the game with 7 tokens. And if you're lucky, by the end of Red Light, Green Light, you'll have 2. I think the most someone had was 3 when we were playing. So it really does feel like the show where it's just wiping everybody out.
There's little things about the game that I really took note of and really like, right? Because so the little player tokens, right? Everyone's a little number. And on the back, it's money. So once it's eliminated, you throw it in the money pot, and then now it represents money that you're going to win at the end of the game if you win. You know, it's a silhouette with a number on it. So this is number player 274. As you keep going through the games, let's say you stay with the original 7 you got. Some of them you're like, oh, 274. I like you, like you're number 1 for me. And then they die in like the 3rd game. They're like, 274, you know, we had a good run. Like you develop a little connection, or at least I did. I just thought it was really fun to kind of establish that connection.
If you're big fans of the show, or you're like us and you really get into it and you're having fun with it and everyone's kind of joking along with it and enjoying it, then you'll have a lot of fun with this game. But to be 100% honest, this game really isn't that good. Like if you aren't connecting it to the show and you don't have that mindset, if you just look at it in terms of mechanics of board games, it's all press your luck, draw a card, do this, move ahead, all luck based. For the most part, if this didn't have the IP connected with it, this would be like a 1 or 2 score game. But when you put it with the IP and the nostalgia of the TV show, and you really get into it and you pretend like, oh, we're playing Squid Game, who you're playing this game with will make all the difference in the world. If you're playing with someone who's just like, not going to enjoy it. But if you're playing with people who are getting into it and pretending, like Lee has a little Nerf gun that shoots, so he was, I'm going to shoot you, like that kind of stuff. So we could really get into the game. So we really enjoyed it because of that.
One thing that I would like to have seen, or maybe I just didn't notice it, was in the show, a lot of the games had a trick to it. These were all just luck-based. I don't know if there was really a trick. Like, yeah, sometimes you could see like, okay, well, this card was already played. It's not coming up next. But, you know, the odds or evens, the flipping over the glass, like there's really no rhyme or reason. It just, that's how it turned out.
Each of these games by themselves don't take that long. So even though the box says 45 minutes, it doesn't take that long to play. So if you are a fan of the show and you're just curious and you want to play it just to experience it, it's not going to take you that long to go through it and have some fun with it. So I think that it's a good, quick game if you're a fan of the show to try it out once or twice and really experience it and then move on.
You know, it says 16 and up, but like all these mini games, like there's really nothing gore or like, you know, you're dead. Like
exactly, like it's in your imagination, the death and the killing and all that. Like for example, the red light, green light, you're just eliminated from the game. I could see the 16 and up because of the IP nature of the game, but again, there's nothing that bad in it.
Yeah, I guess if a 10-year-old played and it was like, let me go watch the show now, then we're like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
hold on, let's pump the brakes, hold on.
Oh, Daddy, I really like this. Can we watch the TV show?
Overall, as far as production value goes, it's all pretty cards and cardboard. The main thing that I think is the selling point is obviously the IP. However, it's the creativity of turning those games into a board game. I'm just stuck on that. I think it's really fun. I think it's really cool. I definitely would play again, but with people who've seen the show because then they'll just get it. So I'll give it a 5.
Overall, I'm really impressed with how immersed into the show you feel. If you're a fan of the show, playing these games will be fun, and that is pretty cool that they were able to do that with these mini games and really feel it. A lot of IP games, it just feels like, oh, well, it's just a game that they put some IP on. This one feels like they were being true to the IP, which kind of hurts it in the sense that if you've never seen the show, or if you're just looking for a fun game outside of the IP, this isn't going to be that. However, if you really want to get into it, you're like, oh, guys, let's play Squid Game tonight. Like, you could really enjoy it with this, and I can see how this could be a fun party game if you're hanging out with people, fans of the show, and you're playing. But just as a board game by itself, it's kind of So it's getting high marks from me for one side, but then it kind of gets brought down. So I'm also going to give it a 5. It's like right in the middle. And that was our review of Squid Game.
What'd you think? What's your favorite game in Squid Game? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you're enjoying this content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
I'm Kenny, and go party like a board gamer.